Renato Mariotti joining us now, former federal prosecutor and host of the On Topic with Renato Mariotti podcast. Nice to see you. Let's start with the Fani Willis case, and then we'll talk about what's happening in Florida. Trump's team is looking to disqualify her because of this romantic relationship. I want to play a portion of Fani Willis's testimony because it got fiery at times when she was defiant as she took the stand. Let's listen.
You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be. We have defined personal as romantic. It is an inaccurate way to state the question.
And I will certainly restate it so it is very accurate.
Okay, and please do not yell at me.
Renato, are the optics of this enough of a conflict of interest to remove her, whether or not she did anything wrong here or not, just what we've seen play out in court?
Well, there's a difference between what, you could argue should happen versus what would happen or will happen under the law. And the judge has to remove her only if there's an actual conflict of interest. And the bar there is actually quite high because really the issue is not that she has a romantic relationship with a colleague, but really that this colleague is being paid out of taxpayer dollars. And the question is whether or not she is personally benefiting from this continued prosecution of the former president. That's really what the issue is. And would that potentially make things unfair for the former president and his co-defendants? So that is the issue before the judge. That said, I will just say that, it really appears that the judge is quite concerned about this because he's delved so deeply into the issue and is allowing so much testimony. It does appear that witnesses haven't been fully forthcoming with him or haven't been completely candid with him. And I think the judge is concerned about that. So, it's not clear what the judge is going to do. But, the bar, at least on the law, is quite high for the defendants.
Well, and the timeline of the relationship and when they started dating and when he was hired and when some of these trips and money exchanges happened is critical. But I don't know that we have an clearer picture after listening to the testimony. In fact, it's almost gotten more muddy as it has gone on. Might that have been their legal strategy, Fani Willis and Nathan Wade?
Completely. Their legal strategy has essentially been to poke holes in the evidence that is being presented by the defendants, to present an alternative point of view that's plausible, such that the judge could say that, well, there's not enough evidence here to know one way or the other when this started. There's not enough of a benefit, that sort of thing. That is, I think, a valid legal strategy. Whenever you're on the defensive, that's exactly what you want to do. If the other side has the burden of proof, you poke holes in it, you present alternative theories, things along those lines. It's not usually the play where prosecutors are, right? Usually the roles are reversed. But here she's on the defensive, and that is what defense attorneys in a criminal matter want to do, is they want to put the prosecutor on the defensive.
Let's talk briefly about Trump's case in Florida that's playing out right now, the classified documents case. His legal team wants this trial to be postponed. On what legal grounds are they saying they'd like that to happen?
Well, it's actually a fairly thin read. I mean, he's suggesting that the removal of classified information, taking of classified documents and bringing them to his resort in Mar-a-Lago is somehow an official act. And thus, he is immune under his assertion that there's complete presidential immunity for all acts that are undertaken as part of his official duties as president. Now, I will say that while I say that's a thin read, it just, when you hear it out loud, it sounds like a bit of a stretch. The judge still has to consider the issue, and I wouldn't be surprised if Judge Cannon just says, well, the Supreme Court's handling this immunity issue, so let's just put everything on hold till after that. Given how inclined she's been to, I would say, rule in Trump's favor on certain things, as well as, she's not been in any hurry to move that case forward.
Always a pleasure, Renato Mariotti. Thank you for your perspective this morning. Thank you for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.